Come and take a ride with me. Welcome to my podcast. Call Wrestling Pedigree. It's the Rotz Report. Wrestling Pedigree.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Rotz Report. I'm your host, Matty, with my co-host, Christopher Ross. How are you, sir?
I am doing good tonight. I am pumped to talk to you guys all about wrestling, what went on this week, last week. It should be a fun, entertaining night. And also say yeah to NoDQ.com.
Absolutely. Massive shout out to Aaron and Noah over there. This week we'll be covering SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite from last night, and also giving our predictions to AAA Worlds Collide tomorrow night. First off, let's start off with a crazy Chicago SmackDown. What is your feelings on that historic SmackDown?
Well, the historic SmackDown from top to bottom, it was a fantastic show. I was interested on the whole entire night on Friday Night SmackDown. The John Cena promo was good. Everybody was chanting AJ Lee, AJ Lee, AJ Lee, and I knew the crowd was going to be on fire from the whole entire show, and it was. And he had a match with Sami Zayn. That was a callback from 2015 when John Cena gave us the United States Championship Open Challenge to Sami Zayn, and that match took place in 2015 in Canada. I don't know which Raw episode it was. If it might have been like in April or May around that time. So that was a great callback to have Cena Zayn. Unfortunately, Brock Lesnar showed up to interfere in that match. And personally, it was the right thing to do to have Lesnar come out, interfere, instead of having like a clean victory with Cena winning or Sami Zayn winning. It would have just hurt the other in defeat if it was just a clean victory. But Brock coming out, F-ing both Sami Zayn, John Cena, then Brock Lesnar went to the backstage and say, hey, John Cena, I'll see you at WrestlePalooza. And that match is official. In the words of Adam Pearce, it is official for Saturday, September 20th, next Saturday. John Cena will take on the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. Another match that we saw, now I gotta remember like the matches. I know Aleister Black defeated Damian Priest. That was a good match from last week. What's going to be next for Aleister Black? I hope they push Aleister Black to the extent that he could maybe challenge Sami Zayn for the United States Championship down the road. Is he going to be the one to take the title off of Sami Zayn? Maybe he has a good shot of doing it. Or Carmelo Hayes is still my pick to dethrone Sami. And also one of the highlights were on the whole entire show was the Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch stuff, and then Punk coming out at the very end. And personally, CM Punk says to Becky, I don't hit a lady, but I know someone will. And the crowd just erupted for AJ Lee. And personally, I'm happy that AJ Lee is finally back in WWE for over a decade. She did not miss a beat whatsoever. I'm happy that she is back in WWE. And we're just gonna have to see what's going to be coming at AJ Lee, because now I know we're gonna be talking to this about Monday Night Raw when we get there, but that mixed tag match also got official with CM Punk, AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at WrestlePalooza a week from Saturday. Also, another thing I want to talk about is the Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton promos. That was good. I know they're gonna have their match tomorrow night on Friday Night SmackDown. So that's gonna be a good match there. Um, and that's just basically it, Juan. What's my highlights for Friday Night SmackDown?
It was a really amazing SmackDown. The AJ Lee return, which was crazily thankful for Wrestling Days to message WWE Shop, who actually revealed AJ Lee was going to be at SmackDown. Um, uh, After WrestlePalooza, I know we're going ahead here. After WrestlePalooza, what would you want AJ Lee to do next?
I was about ready to say the exact same thing to you on how should we book AJ Lee return after WrestlePalooza. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to predict AJ Lee is going to have a one-on-one feud with Becky Lynch over the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I don't know if they would do that match at Crown Jewel in Perth, or if they would rate on a random Raw episode or Survivor Series, or maybe a Saturday night's main event. I don't know what they will do, but I would have a one-on-one feud with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch over the Intercontinental Championship, and I would have AJ Lee be the one to dethrone Becky for that Intercontinental Championship to give AJ Lee a title run again in WWE, just to see how things are going to work with her as a champion moving forward. If she does get that Intercontinental Championship, it will be great for her. But I know what Triple H's philosophy is. If he likes long title reigns, you mouse maybe continue it if he wants to continue that with Becky Lynch. Or if this is going to be AJ's first singles feud, would you want her to get a big win and become Intercontinental Championship? Or would you want her to learn from that, saying, hey, I came up short over Becky Lynch. I could potentially defeat her another time around. So I just don't really know. But for right now, I'm sticking to AJ Lee challenging Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, this question is going to be to you. How will you book AJ Lee return after WrestlePalooza?
After WrestlePalooza, I would have AJ versus Becky at Perth at Crown Jewel. AJ wins. Then on the 1st of November, we have Saturday night main event. That'll be the rematch. And then AJ will take that, keep the title. And then I can see them feuding again still at Survivor Series. And then after AJ wins again, or Becky, depends how the storyline goes. I'll have AJ Lee versus Roxanne build up. I feel that I think a lot of people want to see that match. But for the rest of SmackDown, John Cena versus Sammy for the US title, loved it. It was a great match. I can understand why they got Brock coming out to build up WrestlePalooza match. I really enjoyed the promo package of Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, and just the build up of the Street Profits, not talking, B-Fab in the middle. That was really, really good. But also next week you mentioned Drew versus Orton. We also have a women's world title match, which will be Jay Cargill for challenging Tiffany Stratton for the women's championship. I got Jay Cargill on this. I don't know about you.
Well, we're on the fence of talking about that. First, I think the Drew Randy match tomorrow on SmackDown. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre is going to defeat Randy Orton. And that's when, after the match, Cody Rhodes is going to return tomorrow to
Which
set
got
up
spoiled.
which got spoiled on the Pat McAfee show by the chief content officer of WWE, Triple H.
He's allowed.
Hey, he's allowed to do it. We saw on Unreal when they go behind the curtain, he could do all that stuff. But the thing is this, with Cody's returning to perhaps tomorrow, if Drew wins, it's going to be a one-on-one. But I wouldn't be shocked if they say, let's have a triple threat match for the undisputed WWE Championship and have Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton at WrestlePalooza. That could be a good idea if they would do the triple threat or Cody versus Drew. Now the women's championship match, Tiffany and Jade, that's I just don't know if it's going to be the right time to put the title on Jade. But we also got counter in Tiffany Stratton is going to be on NXT Homecoming on next Tuesday, teaming with Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Valkyrie against Fatal Influence. Do they want to say, hey, let's keep the women's championship on Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Homecoming show, and we could put the title on Jay Cargill another time? I just don't really know at the moment who I have, but for this video alone, I'm going to go out the limb and I'm going to say Tiffany retains once again.
The only thing I can think of what may happen tomorrow is Fatal Influence come out, distract Tiffany, and Jay wins. And that would be some heat for NXT Homecoming next week. But I agree with you on one thing. This match tomorrow will be really good. I think Jade is ready now. I didn't think Tiffany was ready in January when she cashed in, but she proved me wrong. So I'm hoping that Jade will be the same. And I feel next week's episode when we preview WrestlePalooza is going to be one of the biggest WWE PLEs of all time, just because of the match card. And they got to put another 2 on there to make it a six matches. But also, like I said, I agree with you also with the Orton Drew McIntyre. I feel it could be a triple threat, and I think we will see a heel Randy Orton after that after the triple threat match. But once again, that SmackDown was phenomenal. The crowd was crazy. I love a Chicago crowd. And let's go from Chicago to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, on Monday Night Raw. And your take on Monday Night Raw?
My take on Raw, it was good. We had the start of it with the Usos reuniting once again, and they both came out. They only had one entrance music, and that was Jey Usos. I thought for some reason they were going to bring back their other tag team entrance together, the old one, but they decided let's just go with the Jey Uso thing, and everybody was starting yeet, 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 yeet all the time. Personally, every time I see Jey Uso on my screen, I just start yeeting all the time. So thank you, Jey Uso, for making me yeet. Another thing is we're getting the tag team match with the Braun Brawns versus the Usos at WrestlePalooza. And also LA Knight getting involved in this. I saw Jimmy Uso had to get into the middle with both with LA Knight and Jey Uso. And I'll touch bases when we get there for our main event. First up we had was Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez. That was a good solid match there, but at the end Raquel Rodriguez gained the win. I hope down the road they can give Raquel Rodriguez a women's championship run.
Absolutely.
She deserves to be the women's world championship. Look what she did for the NXT brand when she won the NXT women's championship off from Io Sky at NXT Stand and Deliver 2021. That was a good match there. But it's time for they put a women's world title on Raquel Rodriguez. And next week, Roxanne Perez will get the chance to face Lyra Valkyria. We had Nikki Bella and Asuka. That was a good match. I know they were not going to give the win to Nikki Bella anytime soon. I feel with Nikki Bella coming back into the fold of WWE, I feel she is going to put people over the right way and build the new generation up. So that's where I'm seeing the whole Nikki Bella character goes. I'm happy for Asuka winning. I'm gonna say this. I know Asuka, Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. We're gonna have to keep an eye out on that story right there. Because I have a gut feeling maybe the Kabuki Warriors are going to go heel down the road. And I think they are going to go heel. And the best way for them to go heel is maybe costing Io Sky her Women's World Championship match at WrestlePalooza against Stephanie Valkyr. So that's like an early predictions, but predictions subject to change. But we didn't see the contract signing with Stephanie and Io. That was a little bit concerning. I know Stephanie Valkyr is suffering some minor stuff, but it won't affect the match with Io Sky at WrestlePalooza. Another match that we saw was definitely the CM Punk, AJ Lee, Seth Becky promo. That was a good stuff there. They made their match official for WrestlePalooza. So that's going to be an entertaining match. And then we got the LA Knight Bronson Reed match. Bronson Reed got the win. It was the right call. And then afterwards, Jimmy Uso came out. Then Jay came out. And we all thought for some reason afterwards they were going to be lovey-lovey, celebrating and all. Jey Uso spearing LA Knight. And that kind of questioned me, is Jey Uso going heel? That is a question that could be on everybody's mindset. I I'm praying to God that he don't go heel just yet. But what Jimmy Uso said about with Jey Uso, he's sounding like Roman Reigns. When Roman was champion, he got over his head. He was being like the tribal chief. And with Jey Uso, he became world championship. He's sounding like over his head again. He wants to be the world champion again. And Jimmy said, you're going to be like Roman. I think Jey is turning into Roman 2.0 down the road. So is Jey going to go heel? We're going to have to find out and see. But I just hope they don't turn Jey Uso heel. I would rather have LA Knight go heel. Because LA Knight needs a character change in WWE the biggest way possible. And how you can get a character change out of LA Knight is he goes heel. He could do heel tactics and he could find a way to be a world championship that way. And that's my take on Monday Night Raw. But for everybody going to be watching this on demand whenever, programming note that Monday Night Raw next couple of weeks are going to be starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 Pacific, live on Netflix. They have this Raw on Monday, and then the 22nd and the 29th episode of Monday Night Raw will be going to 7 o'clock Eastern time due to they want to get the upper hand on competing with the NFL Football League.
Yeah, and also to add on to that for UK listeners and viewers, it will be midnight on Netflix for us. I agree with you on multiple things, but the one that stands out for me is LA Knight. LA Knight needs a character change or just turn heel. I watched LA Knight when he was in NWA and TNA. He was brilliant as a heel. He was phenomenal as a heel. I really liked him as a heel. I feel that if they got that heel, and even when he was in NXT, he was a good heel. I think Monday Night Raw needs a good mid-card heel. I don't think LA Knight will get a world title shot anytime soon. But I do love this desperate LA Knight at the moment. Jey Uso ain't gonna turn heel yet, but I can see down the line him winning the world title, and it's gonna be him versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I could see that because I think that could be a crazy match. Penta match against Rusev was a really good match. A lot of people online were saying, welcome to WWE Rampage. I love the storyline at the moment between Penta and the New Day and Grayson Waller. I love the use of the Mexican Destroyer. We will see Penta tomorrow at AAA for an appearance. The Lyra versus Raquel was really, really good. Total banger. And like you said, Raquel deserves all the flowers at the moment because her work, especially after Liv went injured, it's been incredible. And a massive kudos needs to go to Kevin Nash for his advice to Raquel. To work, obviously the big man knows how to work, and it gave her some pointers, and it's worked really well for her. And down the line, she deserves at least a title shot, whether it be Intercontinental or the World. Monday Night Raw with the AJ Lee, Seth Rollins, Becky segment, and then Punk coming out later. I thought that was really good, and it was amazing how AJ Lee could introduce herself after 10 years. The last time she was on Monday Night Raw before that was the March 23rd, 2015. So it's over 10 years. And how she introduced herself, saying, "I'm your favorite wrestler." I have one of my favorite lines. And she could play mind games with anyone. And I really, really enjoyed that segment. And like you said, we got that match at WrestlePalooza. And I cannot wait for that match. I cannot wait for that pay-per-view. There's great build-ups. What we will see from the Usos versus the Brons. I cannot wait. So while we talk about cannot wait, and yeah.
Sorry to cutting you off, but I totally forgot to do the Penta Rusev match. That was a good match off the bat. Yeah, with Penta, got a lot of stuff going on with the New Day. Rusev getting the win was the right call. I feel it is time that they are going to really start pushing Rusev even more. But Penta needs some backup if he wants to try to take down the New Day and Grayson Waller. I'm gonna go out with the limb, and I feel these two superstars would be perfect to have Penta's back and possibly taking down the New Day and Grayson Waller. I'm gonna go out the limb. You pair Penta up with Andrade and Rey Fenix. Those are my two superstars that will have Penta's back and taking down the New Day and Grayson Waller. I know we saw it with the War Raiders and stuff with Penta. I would like to see Penta, Rey Fenix, and Andrade pair up to take down New Day and Grayson Waller.
Oh yeah, that would be a great segment to do and match. Yeah, we haven't seen much of Rey Fenix and Andrea since TLC. So that'll be good, just having them with Penta come over on Raw, because they need to spot some tag teams because it's getting a bit stale, especially on SmackDown. I know we're on SmackDown, they're going to get the Wyatts versus MFT, but they need to still build up some tag teams. So swapping them over like that would be really, really good. So before we go on to AEW, let's take a little break here, and let's talk about Strong Coffee Company. If your current routine is hitting the snooze 4 times, stumble into the coffee machine, and regret your life choices, you need Strong Coffee Company. This isn't your average cup of sludge. Strong Coffee is instant coffee that actually does something. It's packed with organic coffee, grass-fed colon, protein, MCT oil, and Lefani, all in one scoop. You just need to add the hot water, no blender, no BS. It wakes you up without wrecking your gut, crashing your energy, or make you jittery like some overhyped gas station caffeine bomb. And yeah, it tastes really, really good. I got the vanilla latte, and it's amazing. You can have it. You can also have mocha and black, or whatever is your vibe. It's smooth and satisfying, no bitter, not burnt, just solid fuel. I've been using it for the past week, and I'm loving it. Especially helps me when I got the meetings. I'm just trying to. You actually feel like you're functioning like an adult. So stop. So stop drinking weak coffee that does nothing for you. Go to strongcoffeecompany.com. Use our discount pedigree for 20% off, and start your day like you actually mean it. So let's get on to wake ourselves up to go to AEW Dynamite live once again in Philly. And I watched this last night, and I cannot believe what I saw. Let's get into it. Mr. Ross, AEW Dynamite.
Well, since we took that break and you said about coffee, I'm going to admit this to you. I don't drink coffee whatsoever. So
Well,
whoever drinks coffee, good luck. But just use our discount and you'll be set for life. My take on AEW last night, it was an all right show. We got kicking off was Hangman and Josh Alexander. That was a good match. Hangman gained the win and then gained confronted afterward by the TNT champion, the proto star Kyle Fletcher. And we got that promo setting up next Saturday for AEW All Out. Hangman versus Kyle Fletcher for the AEW World Championship. I think that is going to be an early match for Kyle Fletcher. I don't think Kyle is ready just yet to be World Championship. So it's not his time yet. So we don't have to worry about Kyle Fletcher winning the World Championship anytime soon. The FTR stuff, they're getting upset. Stokely says, I hate this company. But the FTR, they want to prove a point against Adam Copeland and Christian Cage for next Saturday. And what FTR said, we wanted this to be a dream match. And now it can't be a dream match after all. Next up, we had a women's match with Mercedes Moné teaming up with I am not gonna announce that person because I might butcher it or whatever against Alex Windsor and Riho. I'm glad Alex Windsor and Riho got the win.
Yes. Yeah, they made Emma tap out. And then
Okay,
Alex,
I'm happy with them that they got the win. They building up Riho and Mercedes Moné for the TBS championship for next Saturday at All Out. Shelton Benjamin and Ricochet. It was a good match. Ricochet gained the win. Building up match for Ricochet and the Gates of Agony against the Hurt Syndicate in 6-man tag team action next Saturday at All Out. And then Timeless Tony Storm, Billy Starks. That was a great match from top to bottom. The mice traps. Oh my gosh, I cringed so much with this. And I just said to myself, please just get this match over with. And then also I heard a stapler right in the you know what. I just said, oh my gosh,
there were staplers everywhere. There were staplers everywhere.
This is AEW for a reason. And now we have a Fatal 4-Way women's championship match next Saturday with Timeless Tony Storm, Tekla, Jamie Hayter, and also Chris Statlander. We're gonna have to see who comes on top victorious, and then the main event, the Ops, and Bandito versus Young Bucks and the Death Riders. I'm gonna say Tony Khan is doing a great job with the Young Bucks. We got their old song the other week. We're getting the old AEW theme song this week.
Yeah.
What else are we gonna be? What else music we're gonna be seeing from the Young Bucks? I'm gonna say this: you put the Barney's theme song on next for the Young Bucks. We're all happy family. That would be the Young Bucks would go crazy if they have to hear Barney on AEW. That would be hilarious.
Especially if their title John's dressed up as Barney and all.
That would be sweet. Hey, Tony Khan, if you're checking this out, Maddie and I, we have an idea for you. Put Barney's theme song on next time for AEW. And the most shocking part is at the end, John Moxley, Darby Allin were going after each other. And then we saw this mystery guy showing up and attacking Darby Allin, knowing later it was Daniel Garcia. That was a shocking heel turn from Daniel Garcia. And I know John Moxley talked to Daniel Garcia on AEW Collision. And I don't even watch Collision, so I don't have to worry about that. When I saw that, I just said could be something here with those two. And now it came to fruition that Daniel Garcia turned heel and maybe align himself with the Death Riders. So we're going to have to see how this is going to be. I thought, for one reason, we're going to see a heel turn at Forbidden Door with Daniel Garcia after the Zack Sabre Jr. Nigel McGuinness match. I thought we were going to get a heel turn there, but we did not. And they just says, hey, there's other plans for Daniel Garcia. Let's wait a while. And what they did, they found the perfect moment and have the shocking heel turn last night. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen as we're going to get John Moxley versus Darby Allin in a coffin match next Saturday at All Out. That's going to be my take for AEW this week. What is your take, Maddie?
For the past couple of months now, I feel AEW has been gaining more perspective and momentum. Getting back to their little old selves. They're improving. I really like this Dynamite. I love the Hangman versus Josh Alexander match. I feel Josh Alexander is so underrated. And he picked the perfect company to showcase talents. The Tony Storm Sky Blue match, that was a crazy match. And like you said, what they did was the mousetraps, what they did with the staples and the bug slappers on Sky Blue's arse, it was just absolutely crazy. And then Tony Storm would come out in her inner Sandman was a great touch, especially in that building. The staples to Tony Storm's arse, her lady parts, was an image none of us will ever forget. That was a really good build up with Thekla coming out. She's got some momentum with Thekla, and for me, she's the favorite to win that match. Apart from that, the tag team 500 and $500,000 on the line was a really, really good match. I'm kind of getting bored with these kind of money matches, but this match was really, really good because it has some decent tag teams in it with Bandino, the Young Bucks, Death Riders, and Samoa Joe and that. But the Young Bucks, for me at the moment, are selling like mad, and I love it. I also love the fact that we are getting a mega heel, Daniel Garcia. And rest in peace, that dance, because I don't think we're going to see that dance anytime soon. So I'm really looking forward to All Out. It was a really good Dynamite. I love Daniel. I say Daniel Bryan. Brian Danielson on the commentary was really good, especially when that bullheaded 4-eye asshole was on. But yeah, it was a really, really good show, and I definitely finding the momentum now to watch AEW again. Yes, Chris.
Well, my question is, and we could discuss about this. Well, we saw last night at the end of that match, the Young Bucks gained the money, and Brody King just didn't give a crap whatsoever. So he attacked the Young Bucks, and Bandito came in to save Brody King. I know the AEW All Out card is not done just yet. My question is to you: do you see the Young Bucks challenging Bandito for the AEW World Tag Team Champions next Saturday at All Out?
I do, but I don't think Young Bucks will win. I don't think. I think they will just miss that last bit. I think they're going back where they're just slowly going up, and then they'll fall back down again, and then slowly build up again, and they get a bit higher, then fall back down. I think they're going to do that for the next year or so until all in. But I can see that match happening next Saturday, and I feel the champions will retain. Be a great match though. Um, what's your view on the? Did you watch the Shelton Belgium and Ricochet match?
Yeah, I saw that match, and I gave my view on the Shelton Benjamin Ricochet match.
Yeah, that was a really really good match, and there's a lot of heat. I mean, what FTR are doing with the fans and argue with the fans, especially fans that are so vocal on Twitter, are showing up in the front row that is like really hating on AEW, and they're showing up in the front row and they're arguing with Cash, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and knocking over a cameraman, and I think that's a little bit of what happened with John Moxley a couple months ago with the cameraman. But if it looks real, you get more money, and I think Tony's found a way now of getting some of the wrestlers make it look really real, that we think, holy shit, what's he doing? This ain't part of the script. And if it looks off script, then you get more money. And AEW's done that pretty well for the last 6 years. So this from AEW Dynamite, we go back another day and we talk about NXT. We're going to talk about NXT Homecoming, a little preview of what's to come, because we're going to have such a big show next week that we're going to talk about NXT also Homecoming. NXT on Tuesday was an amazing show. Absolutely amazing show. How did you find NXT in what I think was their last chance in the PC for a while?
Well, I think with NXT on Tuesday, they delivered the show perfectly. The speed matches with Fabi Opshi versus Laney Reed. I knew Laney Reed was going to get the win, and when I saw Natalia, Natty, whatever you want to call her,
That was
in the
nice.
front
That was
row,
nice.
in the front row, I knew that immediately that they were not going to give the win to Fabi at all. The NXT Tag Team Championship match, Dark State, Hank and Tank, that was a good match, but But what we saw Joe Hendry showing up, and one of the Dark State members says Joe Hendry is not going to be here. Knowing later, you say his name, and he appeared, and that was crazy when he broke through the cardboard of the NXT, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Joe Hendry is there." Dark State, that was their first title defense, so you knew that they were going to get the win. Ethan Page, Tavion Heights for the in a flag match. Every time we have a flag match, the United States of America flag gets risen on top.
Shock.
And also what comes afterwards, we saw the return of Tyler Breeze.
Yes.
And I was about to say, oh my gosh, Tyler Breeze is back. And he's going to be taking on Ethan Page next week at Homecoming for the NXT North American Championship. I do feel Ethan Page is going to retain on Tuesday's show. And they're still going to be building towards Tavion Heights, Ethan Page down the road for the NXT North American Championship. And you could pinpoint this. You could pin it here. I'm going to say it. Tavion Heights is going to be the next NXT North American Championship. He's going to be the one to dethrone Ethan Page. And Ethan Page can go to the main roster to be with Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest. So that's where I'm seeing the end goal for Ethan Page NXT North American title run. Obafemi and Ricky Saint had words, and they're going to be on a very special talk show next week, and it's going to be the Grayson Waller effect. And I said, here we go. Grayson Waller comes back to NXT again. Who else came back to NXT? We saw the DIY segment with Trick Williams, and DIY had their main roster theme song with them. That was weird. Last week they had their old theme song. Now this week they have their Death Rebel song, their new one. I wish they could just keep the old theme song of DIY. That was way better than this Death Rebel stuff. And Trick Williams wasn't alone. Carmelo Hayes returned to NXT, and we're finally going to get two generations going against each other. The Black and Gold NXT versus the NXT 2.0 on Tuesday night. DIY versus Trick Mellow Gang. That is going to be a banger tag team match, to say the least. The main event segment, that was good. I picked Fatal Influence to win the tag team match, but they went off and they had the calling Izzy, Dame, Tatum, Paxley. I was shocked about that. I'm happy for them. They're going to get a tag team title opportunity at Homecoming against the convenience of Allence's Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I'm predicting Charlotte and Alexa are going to retain on Tuesday at Homecoming. And then what comes afterwards is one of the best segments I have seen. We had Stephanie Valcour, the CW era NXT. And she was just going off, telling JC, I'm happy that you defeated me. And then she did this, and Stephanie says, what time is it? Maddie, you can say it with me in 3, 2, 1. It's
It's
Tiffany
Tiffany
time.
time.
And I would say, oh my gosh, they're pouring all the stops to NXT Homecoming. And we saw Tiffany Stratton, the NXT 2.0 era. And now, and then after what Tiffany Stratton said to Jason Jane, mommy's not going to be happy with you. I was about to say, oh my gosh, we have the black and gold era of the NXT. Rhea Ripley back in NXT. We're going to get a 6-women tag match at NXT Homecoming. I'm going to say Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Valkyrie, and Tiffany Stratton. They're going to easily get the win on Tuesday at Homecoming. And that's going to be my take on NXT.
You gotta admit, the NXT black and gold was the best era. Was definitely the best era. It was a crazy, crazy NXT show. I love the Joe Hendry comedy. I actually the past couple of weeks he just say his name and he is appearing where he's coming out of a fridge or just coming out onto the ring or coming through a fake wall, which scared the shite out of White Room. I loved it, and I love this interaction he has with Dark State at the moment. And Cutler saying some weird shit is brilliant for me. Um, the one match I want to say, and it started off at the beginning of NXT, Briggs versus Javon Evans. I am beginning to be more and more of a fan of Javon Evans. The stock this guy is getting is crazy, and if I was HBK or I was Triple H or any of the writers, I will put a rocket behind him and make him a face of the brand because he could get anyone in the seat and out of their seats. It was a really good match. Of course, they have to put it with Briz because they need a good heel. But Javon Evans needs a title soon. He needs a title just to build his brand up a bit more. The DIY and Trick Meadow Gang. I'm looking forward to that next week. The segment felt a bit rushed at the end. I think they overran it a little bit when Meadow came out. But it was still a really good segment to build up for next week. I do have Trick Meadow Gang for the win. This match is just crazy for me. If you have Fatal Influence, and they're at each other's throats now because what JC James said on the second said before that everyone came out saying it's all Fallon and Jasmine's fault. I could see her taking the pin next week because if you got Stephanie Falker who is cleared to wrestle now after like you said a minor injury, she was cleared on Tuesday morning, so hence why she wasn't there on the Monday night. And then you have the Women's World Champion Tiffany Stratton, who's got a big match tomorrow, and then you've got the hottest, biggest like women's wrestler today, and I will say bigger than Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley. It's crazy. That tag match is crazy, and I cannot wait to see that next week. And it was a really, really good NXT, and I'm looking forward to the homecoming. Yep.
Well, my question is to you for NXT for next week with Homecoming. What they said at the very end when they were running down what's going to be happening for next week, we're going to still be getting some more surprises on the way. So my question is to you, what more surprises do you think we're going to get on Tuesday's NXT Homecoming?
Try to think of the promo that they did. I know we ain't getting Undisputed Era because Kyle was on AEW. But try to look on it. I'm thinking Bobby Roode's going to show up. And that's going to be glorious. Obviously, you got Tyler challenging Ethan Page. There's going to be a lot. I could see the likes of Sami Zayn showing up for Black and Gold. Seth Rollins could show up. Becky could show up. It's going to be a big, massive. They're going to bring some big names from the main roster back down. And I could see Fraxium returning back down to have a tag match with someone. So it's going to be a lot of the main roster that are original NXTs to come back down. I could even see it if he's fit enough, a KO, but you never know.
I have a name in mind.
What's that?
It's a girl. It's a women's superstar. She was a former NXT women's champion. I know Asuka's probably going to be there next week. Maybe we'll see Shayna Baszler returning next week. But I don't see Shayna being there. She was a former NXT women's champion. She became the Divas champion. She had to AKA retired. And she was on SmackDown. She was a SmackDown general manager.
I know where you're going with this.
Her theme song is Stars in the Sky. I'm not talking about Io Sky. I'm going to say this. What if there's a possible chance next week at NXT Homecoming we finally get to see the return of Paige?
I knew where you were going with that because I watched the interview that she had with Busted Open with Natty. And she's happy. She said she wants to return back, come back as Paige. If they could do that deal within a weekend and bring her back in on Tuesday, wow. I would say that will be a bigger pop. And this is very, very I'm probably going to get heat for it. I think she'll have a bigger pop than AJ Lee. I think because of the stuff that she's gone through and everything like that, I think she'll get a bigger pop, and I think she'll be welcomed with open arms. I don't know about you, because obviously some fans, we think, I personally thought NXT fans on Tuesday would be like, holy crap, it's Tyler Breeze. But it was a bit medium. If I saw Tyler Breeze come out and he's got the selfie stick and he's coming out and he's doing that, I'm marking that. But I honestly think if Paige shows up on Tuesday, wow, that's one word. It will be just wow. And then if she does, and then next week you could just be a little bit smug, be like, "Yep, I call that." It'll be crazy if that happened. It would. Actually, let's do a quick, because we won't know our episode next week. Let's do a quick prediction. DIY versus Trick Meadow Gang. Who have you got?
Oh, that's going to be hard to call because I can see it going 50-50. I know you have Trick Meadow Gang. Well, for the sake of this video here, I know predictions are going to be subject to change. I just feel next week, I think DIY's taking it.
Like you say, it's 50-50. It's definitely 50. And we both know the three main roster women are going to win next week. So, talking about NXT, we got Worlds Collide tomorrow on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we have a bit of a big card going on. So we're going to just do our quick predictions on this. So we have La Parka, Mini La Parka, I think it is. Mascara, I've got a bushel with these. Mascarita versus Mascarita, Sagarita, Nino Hamburgersa, and Ultra Jr. versus LWO, Lince Dorado, and Mini Asbimo. I got LWO for this. I feel the WWE will win the first one. What about you?
I'm going to go out the limb. I'm going to say the AAA team is going to win.
Yeah, I won't blame it. I mean, there's so many La Parkers at the moment. I love it. The next match is a fatal four-way for the AAA Latin America Championship. We got Dr. Wagner Jr., the champion, versus Dragon Lee, who's on form at the moment. The North American champion, Ethan Page, and JD Madonna, massive head. Who have you got for this one?
I got the champion to retain.
I have the champion to retain. I feel this match could be a showstealer. I honestly believe they could steal the show in this. Dr. Wagner Jr. I'm becoming a massive fan of his while watching AAA, and obviously Dragon Lee also. We have the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, and Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez versus Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana. We all know the puppets are going to play a hand in this. Also, it's a Mets tag team match. Who have you got for this one?
Well, who I have in this match is I got Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez taking this.
I have Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana. I think because Judgment Day won last time at the AAA, at Triple Mania, I feel we're going to have a rubber match in the next future. So I feel Mr. Iguana will win with Lola. I mean, Lola's on a roll also, and she's got a big match at No Mercy at NXT No Mercy soon. We have a singles match to determine the number one contender for the AAA Arena, the Arena's championship. Fabio Paci versus Natty. I got Natty on this. Who have you got?
As of now, I got Fabi to win this.
I think Natty's on. I think they're going to trust Natty, and I think we're going to see a new champion in the future, and I think it's going to be Natty. We have for the tag team championships of AAA, Pagno and Psycho Clown versus the Kofi and Savior, or the Morning Savior. Obviously, I got the reigning AAA tag team champions to win, especially Psycho Clown. I love his mask. Who have you got?
I got the champions retaining by the help of Penta. I have a gut feeling Penta is going to cost the New Day this match, but I wouldn't count the New Day out of winning the AAA Tag Team Champions. We saw Angel and Berto winning the AAA Tag Team Champions, and they lost at Triple Mania. So would they want to give the AAA Tag Team Champions to the New Day that is mourning the tag team division on Monday Night Raw? And if the New Day would win, you could lit a fire in the Raw tag team division saying, hey, We are the AAA Tag Team Champions. You guys need to lit a fire to bring the Raw Tag Team division up to speed again. But I'm going to stick to the champs retaining by the help of Penta.
Can you imagine if the New Day won and how annoying they would be? But Penta is scheduled to be on that show, so I could see them crossing the match. And we have the main event. Vicio defending his AAA Mega Championship against Dirty Dom Mysterio. Versus AAA champion Delfico. Who have you got for this?
Who I got for the AAA championship, I'm going to go out the limb and I'm going to say Dominic Mysterio becomes the new AAA champion tomorrow.
So I got Dirty Dom to win, but I feel Alberto Del Rio will return to cost Delfinco the title. Before we go, there is some other news I want to just run by you, Ross. So it's been announced yesterday that WrestleMania 43 will be in Saudi Arabia. What's your views on?
Well, my feel on WrestleMania 43 in 2027 going to Saudi Arabia, I'm going to be concerned about that because we're at the all counter in with the fan access. Where would that go? Also, we have the counter in is where the Hall of Fame ceremony is going to go. Where's NXT Stand and Deliver is going to be going. I'm going to be very concerned about that. I hope WWE and Saudi Arabia are making a good decision about this. I know they're bringing the Royal Rumble to Saudi Arabia in 2026 just for a one-day show. For WrestleMania, it's a 2-day show, and you're going to have 2 days in Saudi Arabia. I'm going to be very concerned about that because it's going to be like for all the United States, here in the United States, I'll be seeing WrestleMania weekend at 1 o'clock Eastern time for both Saturday and Sunday. So personally, an early start time is better, but I'm going to be very concerned about WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, as obviously living in the UK, it's very, very bitter because we wanted to be the first international WrestleMania. I mean, we even had John Cena vouch for us. But it's very gutting. But I'm always the person that would look on the positives, and the positives is I get to watch at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. I don't have to watch it from 11 p.m. to 4 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. They're classing it as the biggest WrestleMania ever. Apparently, they're going to ask every retired wrestler to come out of retirement for big money. By what the rumors are saying, this could be one of the biggest WrestleManias, but unfortunately, it won't be on American or English soil. So it's a bitter pill to swallow. But if they do really well on the Royal Rumble, then it'll be fine. So for next week, we have massive, maybe 2 shows. That's how massive next week is. We have the review next week of all wrestling from tomorrow all the way up to our next show. We also have another episode where we're talking a review of the preview of predictions for AEW All Out and WrestlePalooza. So it's a massive week next week, massive week in wrestling, and just love it, don't you, Chris? Where can people find you, Ross?
Well, thank you for episode number 3 of the Rotz Report. Yeah, you could put this also Zero, Miero, Penta with the 3s. Next week we're gonna have to find something that has the 4. So we'll think about something. Oh yeah, the Fantastic Four next week.
Or it could be
So
the 4 Horsemen next week.
so where you guys could find me at is on my Instagram, CMROTZ_1316. My Facebook, Christopher Rotz. My X account, CRotz24. I had a blast doing Rotz Report episode number 3. What Maddie alluded to, next week is going to be a big week because we'll have wrestling reviews for next week. And plus, we're going to be doing previews, predictions for both WrestlePalooza and AEW All Out. So check us out next week and make a positive life to everything. Think about the positives instead of the negatives. And let's just get along and let's just make the United States happier, and let's just enjoy life and just be positive in life.
I totally agree with you on that. One great thing about pro wrestling is it's a great escapism, and definitely need that at this time. This show obviously will be available in all podcast outlets and available on video on YouTube. Please leave a review. How you found it. We always like to improve ourselves. We're really enjoying what we're doing. Just talk about wrestling, whether it's past, present, or the future. You can find us on Facebook, Wrestling Pedigree. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at Wrestling Pedigree 92. And you can find me on Twitter on Matty W freaking A, where I'm pissing off a lot of people on there. So it's brilliant. So thank you once again for joining us. We do have Wrestling Pedigree coming back on this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be talking about WrestleMania matches. Me and Steve do have Christopher Rotz next month talk about the top 10 Royal Rumbles, where I think there'll be a lot of debate on that. So, yeah, there's a lot of things coming up. We also have a new show coming up for the United Kingdom called Union Grabs, where myself will talk about all the local indies in Britain, including like Progress Wrestling and Brick King Wrestling. So a lot of stuff coming on, and we're making this brand really, really well. So for me, Matty, for Rotz, thank you for joining us for Rotz Report episode 3. We'll can't wait to see you next week for episode 4, which will be fantastic. And just look after each other and enjoy wrestling.